Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your MTN Statewide News this Tuesday. I'm Janelle Slade. Well, topping the news this noon, Missoula County authorities are looking for a person of interest in a shooting that left a victim critically injured last night. The sheriff's office says 20-year-old Zakai Hauk, also known as Kai William, is considered armed and dangerous. The shooting happened on Ankabide Lane Monday night in Missoula. Hauk is 5'11", approximately 150 pounds, with brown eyes and brown hair. The victim was shot multiple times and found laying in the street in the Miller Creek area. If you have seen or know of the location of Zakai Hauk, please call 911. You can also call Missoula County Sheriff's Office. More information will be provided as it becomes available. A Great Falls man reported missing Sunday has been found dead. Tyler Hardy was last seen early Sunday morning near Monarch. According to Cascade County Sheriff's Office, Hardy's motorcycle was recovered first. Cascade County authorities and search and rescue, Montana Highway Patrol, and Belt emergency responders searched from the ground as Malmstrom Air Force helicopters searched from the sky. On Monday night, those close with Tyler Hardy gathered to remember the 22-year-old. Vehicles formed a procession along 10th Avenue South and Northwest Bypass in Great Falls. An investigation into his death is ongoing. 2 Great Falls police officers also joined in the solidarity Monday night, turning on their lights to honor Tyler's life. Helena leaders will hold an online public meeting this week to take comments as they seek grants to restore the city's historic fire tower. Now, the city is applying for $25,000 from the Montana Department of Commerce and $70,000 from a grant through the State Historic Preservation Office. The group Friends of the Fire Tower has also pledged to support some of the cost. Leaders have been looking at ways to repair the fire tower since it was damaged by a suspicious fire in 2016. Now, the current plan calls to replace rotted timbers, remove some material that isn't historically appropriate, and stabilize the tower's foundation. Now, that public meeting is set for Thursday at 4 p.m. Well, it's now time to check in on the weather scene. The pretty dreary day out there, Ed.
Yeah, that's right. It looks like it's going to continue for a while too, Janelle. As we take a look, we're going to take a look ahead towards next week. The Climate Prediction Center is putting the 8 to 14 day forecast. That's next week, basically with cooler than average temperatures across the Rocky Mountain West. Meanwhile, they're going to be basking in springtime temperatures in the eastern 2/3 of the country, and that's going to hold back our warm up much. And at the same time, you could probably guess that with the cooler temperatures, we're also trending towards a little wetter than average weather as well, especially through southern and eastern Montana as we start getting through the week. There could be some breaks in that, though. A nice weekend. We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, today the state reports 2 more confirmed COVID-19 cases across Montana. There are just 19 active cases of the 460 confirmed total. Now, this map here does not reflect a Jefferson County case reported over the weekend. Jefferson County health officials tell us that man has not been in Montana for several weeks and did not contract the virus here. According to Governor Steve Bullock, the state will receive nearly 20,000 swabs from the federal government. 9,000 units of the liquid needed to transport the swabs will also be included in that order. The governor says the increased testing will be focused on assisted living facilities and tribal communities. Now, businesses across Gallatin County are reopening at their own pace, but all are required to follow city county health department rules. MTN's Gabby Crevitt shows us how different businesses take different approaches to make customers and employees feel safe.
When this first hit, we are like, okay, it'll last a week. Okay, it's gonna last 2 weeks. Now it's 2 months in, and our business model has literally changed 180.
Businesses across Gallatin County have been hard at work, making sure customers and employees feel safe during the COVID-19 pandemic. And that's come with some serious changes to how business is normally conducted. Earlier this month, the Gallatin City County Health Department adopted a new emergency rule for reopening and has shared guidelines for avoiding close contact, promoting hand washing and sanitizing, and monitoring for symptoms. Businesses are now tasked with how to implement the guidelines.
We're doing everything from temperature checks or all shifts for employees, sanitizing every table. We have these little cards that we sort of flip over when somebody sits down, so we sanitize it before somebody leaves. We've plexiglassed everything in, basically.
Sanitizing everything from counters to pens to shopping carts to doors to, the displays, rooms like this, everything needs cleaned constantly.
One major topic of discussion is face coverings. Some businesses have encouraged their employees to wear them.
I think a lot of it is just to make sure our customers feel comfortable and us feeling comfortable that we're doing everything that we can.
While other businesses are leaving the mask coverings up to the employees.
We did have some folks that do wear them, some folks that opted not even to come to work, kind of on that same risk level that they chose not to, and we of course allowed that. And we do have an inventory of them for our staff, which is basically all we could get our hands on.
The CDC recommends wearing a non-medical grade face mask or a cloth covering if social distancing is hard to achieve, but it's not a mandate. It's something that the Gallatin City County Health Department and the Board of Health continue to discuss. Reporting in Bozeman, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
Thanks, Gabby. Now, today, nurses will hold an online vigil to mark the end of National Nurses Week. Nearly 1,000 nurses are expected to sign on to honor their colleagues who lost their lives to COVID-19. It's also meant to show their solidarity during this tough time. Well, last week, nurses protested for better protective gear outside the White House by laying out 88 pairs of shoes for each nurse who's died. Well, today, that number is more than 100. The group National Nurses United will host the vigil on Facebook Live starting at 6:30 tonight. University of Montana turns to forest as a symbolic way to honor the future for the class of 2020. The University of Montana has a stellar reputation as one of the best forestry schools in the United States. This past weekend, the forest took on special symbolism as a living tribute to all UM students, no matter what their major. It wasn't caps and gowns, but masks and hodads as UM leaders, staff, and volunteers gathered to plant 2,020 Western larch on the 3,600-acre university-owned Brandy Ranch, which is on the Upper Blackfoot.
Planting trees for them just seemed like a great way to celebrate their achievements under these extraordinary circumstances and really to demonstrate that we're hopeful in spite of COVID-19 and all the challenges we're currently facing.
What a great move. Well, some good news regarding Montana's unemployment numbers today. The state has seen fewer than 1,000 new claims each day in May. That's down from as many as 4,000 a day during the middle of the shutdown last month. Now, since the first COVID-19 cases in March, Montana has recorded nearly 87,000 new unemployment claims. In the first week of May alone, the Department of Labor and Industry has paid out almost $60 million in unemployment across the state. Well, the House of Representatives wants to get voting started on a new stimulus package as soon as Friday, but progress may stop there. Senate Republicans say they do not plan on voting for any new relief until June. The new package would be the fifth since March. It's expected to be unveiled today and focus on helping states and cities struggling to avoid layoffs. The House also wants more money for testing and another round of direct payments and unemployment benefits. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell insists there is no urgency to approve aid right now. Well, we have more news ahead on your Noon News, including a story about a Montana high school athlete who is one varsity letter short from making history. The time now is 12:08, but first, Ed McIntosh is in next with your statewide weather forecast.
Now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with meteorologist Ed McIntosh.
Welcome back to the new news. Temperatures are mainly into the 30s and 40s here this hour. Butte's really popped up now at 55 degrees, 50 over in Williston, North Dakota. But we've also had this band of showers that's been moving from basically south to north along a warm front. And that's been progressing since yesterday. So it's going to hold the temperatures back a little bit to the northern portion of Montana. We're only at 35 in Great Falls. Cutbank, you're at 34 here this hour. So a couple of the warmer readings right through north central Montana, and then also Lewistown at 38. The winds brisk, to say the least, here as we start looking into northeastern Montana from anywhere from Havre all the way into the Flathead or the Fort Peck region, where we've had some choppy waters around Fort Peck during the morning hours, but a southeasterly wind that's going to continue through the afternoon as well. So here comes that disturbance swinging up and across the region. So as we take a look at our big picture, as that warm front continues to move ahead, it's caused some areas of fog through southern Montana and central Montana that's really really been holding back much of a warm up during the morning hours. Now, as that system continues to lift up and out of the region, it will help to produce a few showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. We'll see a little pop in the temperatures. We'll see storms start to develop. The real target area is going to be here through areas of eastern Wyoming for the potential of some storms that could have perhaps some small hail or some stronger winds around them. But showers off and on. Mountain snow will continue through the night and into tomorrow. It's still unsettled on Wednesday. It'll be fairly quiet during the overnight hours, but northwest Montana, you'll probably see the bulk of any activity overnight. And then tomorrow, some pops of sun again, and another day where we'll see those showers and thunderstorms start to develop by later in the day. Temperatures overall do want to trend a little bit warmer. Today, the coolest areas will be northern Montana. Tomorrow, readings in the 50s and 60s will be widespread. By the time we start getting into Thursday, we could see some warmer air across the eastern plains where we see the sky clear out a little bit, but it becomes more active again for you in western Montana. As we head into the weekend, we're going to be watching Friday to be fairly active as far as rain showers, higher elevation snow, especially through the mountains of south central Montana. But watch as we start taking into the weekend. Saturday's fairly quiet overall. Sunday, showers start to move into western Montana, but under a strong ridge. Sunday afternoon, we may be looking at temperatures as warm as the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. Temperatures today are going to be into the 40s and 50s to the north, 60s through much of southwest Montana for the afternoon. Isolated showers and thunderstorms continue to ripple across the region. We'll look for overnight readings to be in the 30s to low 40s. Again, a little more active here in northwest Montana. Some thunderstorms through the evening possible as we look in through extreme southern Montana in northern Wyoming. Then tomorrow, 50s and 60s for the highs. We'll see some breaks of sun during the day, but that could lead to some thunderstorms later in the afternoon. Western Montana, it's a slow warm up for you, especially in the Flathead Valley. 40s, 50s, 60s. Looking at some 60s around Missoula with showers off and on over the next several days. Great Falls and Helena looking for temperatures to start to edge up a bit into the 60s, especially as we get later on into the work week. For Butte Bozeman, we're looking at hit and miss showers, thunderstorms over the course of the next few days with temperatures in the 50s and 60s during the day, 30s for the overnight lows. And we will see a warm up in the eastern plains over the next few days. There's a look at the weather. Back to you, Janelle.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, the absence of high school sports has affected a lot of athletes, especially those seniors who missed their final seasons. MTN's Nick Petroccioni introduces us to a Bozeman athlete who will now fall just shy of making history.
The cancellation of the high school spring sports season hit a lot of athletes hard, especially Addie Ekstrom. The Bozeman native was on the verge of doing something historic, earning 12 varsity letters for her high school career.
It would feel a little weird just to be one away due to something that's out of your hands.
Addie is a standout athlete in soccer, basketball, and track. Earning 12 letters wasn't her ultimate goal, but it is something to cement her legacy as a Hawk.
I feel like it's just something that I could always come back and this is where I went to high school, this is what I accomplished, and it's just like a way to measure that, a way for me to celebrate my dedication and hard work.
This is Bozeman High School's 12-letter winner's plaque. Now you see, only 7 names in the history of Bozeman athletics have ever achieved the feat, boys and girls sports. And there's this little empty space reserved for Addie Ekstrom. She's the only Hawk that's on pace to do it again. Now with the cancellation of the high school season in the spring, she may only get 11 letters, but she's not giving up hope.
Being at 11 and knowing that, it wasn't in your control to not get that last letter would be a little bit annoying, but you just kind of got to live with it, and we'll see. We're trying to figure out a way to maybe potentially get that letter back.
Addie still has one more year left of high school, so whether it ends up being 11 letters or 12, it doesn't take away from her being one of the great athletes in Hawk history. In Bozeman, Nick Petroccioni, MTN Sports.
And Major League Baseball's first pitch could be thrown in July. Now, games would be played in home stadiums without fans in the stands. Team owners will meet with Players Association and will try to agree on moving forward with a shortened season of 82 games. MLB officials may want reduced pay for the players, but the Players Union says that's a non-starter. Up next, your latest ag news with Lane Nordland. Stay with us.
Now, here's your Farm and Ranch Report from the Montana Ag Network.
Welcome back for today's Farm and Ranch News. In keeping with Governor Steve Bullock's phased COVID-19 reopening and in the interest of health and safety, Montana State University and the Montana Agriculture Experiment Station have made the difficult decision to cancel their 2020 in-person experiment station field days. The ag research will continue regardless across the state, and technology will aid in bringing the field days right to you virtually.
We are still hammering out the exact details, but all the speakers and all the people you normally get to interact with on a plot tour or on a wagon or stand out looking at a bunch of cattle or range work that we're doing in Montana will happen. It will just happen through either a recorded or a live broadcast, and we're still trying to hammer out how best that'll look. But Dr. Phil Bruckner will talk about the new winter wheats, whether that be a forage variety or his new winter wheats. Myself or some others could be talking about how we're integrating cattle into grazing cover crops. So those normal talks will take place. It'll just take place as recorded or in a semi-live format so we can get questions and answers back. I ran this by a couple producers because we all work with advisory councils throughout the state of Montana. And actually some of the producers were actually very excited. They absolutely mandate that we continue to do these person-to-person, face-to-face contacts when it's safe and prudent. But they said, in the best case scenario, this could be good. I can go back and I could review those video broadcasts when I'm in the tractor, auto steer, or if I can't attend a field day because I have a critical thing, this could be even a further reach for our research centers and the field days.
For up-to-date information about MSU summer programming, visit agresearch.montana.edu. Looking now to our weekly crop progress report, USDA says that in Montana last week, the planting of sugar beets progressed well with an estimated 65% of the crop planted compared to 40% the previous week. Spring wheat planting came in at 50% complete, which is ahead of last year at 48%, but behind the 5-year average of 62%. This week's weather will slow that down, no doubt. Winter wheat was reported with 1% of the crop booted, with conditions rated as 64% good to excellent compared to 74% this time last year. Don't go too far, we'll have more coming up next. As we come back today, as beef processing facilities slowly start to rebuild their workforces crippled by COVID-19, U.S. Senators John Tester and Steve Daines have co-sponsored the New Markets for State Inspected Meat and Poultry Act, a bipartisan bill that would allow state-inspected meat processors to sell across state lines. Currently, there are 27 states, including Montana, with inspection programs certified by the Food Safety Inspection Service, which meet or exceed federal inspection standards. However, state-inspected meat products are limited to being sold in-state unless opted into a separate program within FSIS. The bill would address what the senators call unnecessary restriction on Montana's high-quality meat processors and ranchers and help relieve stress on the food supply chain due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, friends, that's all the time we have for today's Farm and Ranch News. Have a great day.
All right, thanks, Lane. Check out this video of a porcupine eating a treat. Take a look. This is Nicole. She's chowing down on a peanut butter and flaxseed ball for breakfast. Yum. While the porcupine may think she's just getting a delicious snack, her handlers at a Toronto zoo say that's how they sneak in her medication. Clever, clever, clever.
It's all about the cute porcupine.
It is.
It really is. Yeah.
Well, except the one last look at weather.
Yeah, well, that's a little spiny too. Let's go ahead and take a look. We've got temperatures into the 40s, 50s, 60s, but the bigger story is those clouds will come and go and the chance of showers and thunderstorms will move across the region. Look for temperatures over the next few days to slowly climb up, but we're also looking at the chance of showers and thunderstorms to steadily keep moving in.
Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.